opinion ataupun adverse opinion. Kenapa? Because the implication kepada company tu adalah terlalu besar. Bukan saja implication kepada company tetapi the implication kepada shareholders of the company. Okay? Kalau kita tengok dia punya account, dia cerita sikit lah ya. If we look at about the financial information before audited, dia punya financial statement dia show profit of 758 million. Okay, so selepas be audited, so dia punya actually the company dia ada loss sebanyak 185 million. Sebenarnya kalau kita buat audit, dia tak boleh more than 10%. Okay, the profit before audit and profit after audit. Okay, sebab kadang-kadang klien dia akan prepare financial statement, right? So after client prepare financial statement, so bila kita audit ada changes dekat profit tu ya. The changes tu kalau ikut term of rule dia tak boleh more than, dia macam more or less 10% lah. Kalau more than 10% tu kita dah consider sebagai material. Material maksud tu lah yang you kena buat detail substantive audit procedures. Tetapi kat sini you nampak dia punya the difference between loss and profit tu dalam lebih kurang 900 million, dekat 1 billion lah juga kan basically kan. So selepas tu at the same time Bursa Malaysia pun take action against that company, required some information, SC pun required some of the information, and then the company be classified sebagai PN17. PN17 tu kira serius sebab normally kalau company ada financial problem dia akan diklasifikasikan sebagai PN4. Kalau PN4 tu maksudnya the company might have difficulty to continue as going concern, tapi boleh survive. Tetapi mungkin dia ada masalah to continue as going concern. Normally the most CS pun akan bagi kategori sebagai PN4 lah ya. Tetapi under this situation it is being classified sebagai PN17. Dia macam company ni dia ada dua kategori ya. Kita akan bagi rating kat company ni ya. Bila kita audit dan dapat report, dapat dia punya all those information kan, kita akan bagi dia rating 1 A, double A, triple A, 4 kali A, 5 kali A, 6 kali A, 7 kali A. Kalau lagi banyak A tu lagi meaning that company tu adalah is a very good company, well managed, okay. Well managed, good company, macam dia concern pasal dia punya staff, dia concern pasal dia punya social responsibility, dia ada banyak kategori ya. So lagi banyak A yang you dapat meaning that the company tu adalah good company, okay. Especially kalau company tu macam for example daripada private company, you nak listingkan your company, you mesti ada, there are a few things yang dia akan tengok lah. Dewan kita panggil sebagai goal listing. You orang belajar kan goal listing dalam paper CLG kan. So untuk you listkan your company, dia akan tengok you punya financial statement. Okay, dia akan tengok you punya financial stability for the past 5 years. Okay, you punya bayar hutang, sama ada you mampu ke tak bayar hutang, you punya profitability, you punya governance, okay, kemudian you punya staff development. There are so many things yang dia akan take into consideration before allow your company to be listed dekat Bursa Malaysia, okay. Sebab bila nak listed dekat Bursa Malaysia, sebab semua orang boleh invest dekat your company. So kita kena jaga the shareholders as a whole lah. Biasanya Bursa Malaysia akan take into consideration sebab kita nak tengok the benefit kepada shareholders, okay. Tetapi kalau PN17 ni, apa maksudnya PN17? Any one of you check? PN17 ni maksudnya dia tak boleh nak Bursa Malaysia akan suspend dia punya the business as usual, tetapi dia tak boleh trade dia punya share. Okay, dia tak boleh trade the share, and then Bursa Malaysia ataupun CS akan bagi dia masa 1 year to overcome dia punya financial problem. Okay, faham tak ikhlas? So kita bagi masa 1 year untuk dia macam stablekan dia punya company, overcome dia punya financial problem. So kalau 1 year dia still not be able to cope with it, maksudnya dia akan delisting. Maksudnya dia tak akan listedkan lagi the company dekat Bursa Malaysia. Betul tak kelas ya? So bila tak listedkan company tu dekat Bursa Malaysia, jadi dia punya share akan jadi no value. Tak ada share lah. Kalau if you are the shareholder of Serba Dynamic, so your share will be no value, burn. Faham ya? Dan kalau you tengok dia punya saham daripada 160, harga share dia as per Friday last week, harga share dia dah jatuh kepada I think 30 cent kot. Okay. So dalam masa setahun ni dia kena ensure that kalau dia tak nak, especially major shareholder lah kan, if they don't want to lose it, so they have to try to recover the business dalam masa 1 year ni lah. Okay. Tetapi it's very difficult kot sebab tak tahu, I don't know lah, maybe boleh kalau ada orang yang inject ada investor yang inject capital dekat that company lah, maybe boleh. Okay, sebab dia punya kerugian sekarang dia adalah 185 million. Okay, as compared to yang dia tunjuk profit adalah 758 million. Okay, so itu salah satu contoh macam mana kenapa auditor issue disclaimer opinion. Dan you tertanya kenapa auditor to issue disclaimer and not adverse opinion. The reasons why sebab the auditors having difficulty to obtain the evidence. Okay, dia bukan disagreement ya, the company tu bukanlah nak kata ada disagreement between auditor and company when they prepare financial statement. Dia bukan masalah disagreement, masalahnya adalah the auditors having difficulty to obtain the audit evidence. Okay, that's the reasons why the auditor issue disclaimer opinion. So you boleh baca a little bit, study a little bit about this company. Okay, faham? Boleh nampak ya case ni ya? Boleh relate lah, especially benda-benda macam ni kalau bila-bila you kerja, you dah pergi interview esok, they might ask you about all this thing. Okay, kalau dulu dia suka tanya pasal case Transmile case, okay, sekarang ni maybe dia akan tanya a little bit pasal case Serba Dynamic. Serba Dynamic ni memang kalau you tengok mana-mana ni memang dia akan banyak dia cerita pasal case Serba Dynamic. Okay, so benda ni penting jugalah untuk you, especially bila you nak pergi for the interview later on. So you baca ya kelas ya, baca dia punya case ni dan baca dia dia punya auditor punya opinion dan why the auditor come out dengan that opinion. Okay. Sekejap ya kelas ya, I tak tahu kenapa I tak boleh nak ni. Okay, and anything that you want to share? Tak ada ya. So kalau macam tu, I nak masuk new topic today. Topik today kita nak tengok tajuk on my eye. Okay, tajuk apa ni? The last topic adalah tajuk completing the audit. Ada bagi you order ada slide ke this one?
Ada madam.
Okay. So kita discuss a little bit on this topic. Kita tengok introduction saja hari ni ya kelas ya. Sekejap ya, I nak charge my phone. My phone pun tak ada battery. Okay, so completing the audit adalah after we conduct the audit, meaning that but before we sign the audit report, okay. So normally dalam audit process kita ada pre-planning, kemudian kita akan buat audit planning lah ya. During the audit planning kita akan buat kita akan assess company punya risk, sama ada audit risk lah, sama ada kita nak tengok dia punya inherent risk as well as the inherent risk as well as the control risk. Okay, sama ada the inherent risk is high or low, and at the same time kita akan determine the substantive risk lah. The substantive bukan detection risk ya. At the same time kita akan determine the detection risk. Kejap ya kelas ya, I nak check this one. Okay, so kemudian apa yang kita buat adalah the first thing adalah pre-planning. Pre-planning ni you kena decide sama ada you want to accept or not the appointment, okay? Kemudian kita akan buat audit planning. Kemudian kita akan accumulate audit evidence. So dalam audit process ni kita ada dua. Satu adalah we call it as interim audit. Okay, interim audit normally kita fokus kepada audit the client internal control system lah. Kita nak tengok internal control system sama ada the internal control system is reliable or not. Okay, so from there you be able to determine dia punya control risk, sama ada control risk is high or low. Okay, so on top of it kita juga akan conduct the final audit. Oh, sebab because kalau I buat kat sini dia akan padam. Sekejap ya. Okay, kita akan accumulate audit evidence. So masa kita accumulate audit evidence, kita akan buat sekejap. Kenapa tadi dapat? Okay, okay, on top of it, selepas kita buat interim audit, at the end of the day ataupun towards the end of the year ataupun of the accounting year, kita akan conduct the final audit. Okay, during the final audit, kita akan buat analytical procedures dan kita juga akan buat substantive audit procedures. Okay, kita akan buat substantive audit procedures dan juga analytical procedures. Okay, during interim audit, normally kita fokus kepada internal control system and whatever items yang ada dalam income statement. And during final audit, normally kita akan fokus kepada the balance item ataupun the items yang ada dalam balance sheet lah. Okay, so normally kita akan buat benda-benda ni towards the end of the year sehingga kepada following year. So following year tu, awal-awal following year tu, we still fokus kepada balance sheet item. Sebab sometimes, sebab client dah come out dengan balance sheet kan, so we need to verify the figures in their balance sheet lah. Okay, that one kita akan buat confirmation dengan third party, debtors confirmation, creditors confirmation, bank confirmation, dapatkan confirmation daripada solicitors and so on. Okay, so selepas kita dah habis buat all those things, so kita akan issue the audit report. Okay, so kat sini kita akan issue audit report. So daripada year end sehingga we issue the audit report, this one kita panggil sebagai completing the audit. Okay, kalau you nak tahu kat mana completing the audit adalah after we conduct the final audit but before we sign the audit report. Okay, so dalam completing the audit, there are a few things that we need to consider lah before kita sign the audit report ya. After kita dah buat final audit dan before kita sign the audit report, these are the things yang kita buat lah. The first thing adalah sebelum you sign audit report, you kena check sama ada the client when they prepare the financial statement, they comply with accounting standard and the requirement of Companies Act. Kita kena conduct sekali lagi analytical review. Okay, because kita nak try to understand client punya performance compared to prior year and client performance compared to the other company in the same industry. At the same time, kita juga nak tengok client punya possibility to continue as going concern, ability to continue as going concern. Untuk kita tengok going concern status, normally yang paling biasa auditor guna adalah conducting the analytical procedures. Kita akan calculate the ratio lah. Normally kita akan tengok kepada kebiasaannya untuk going concern status, kita akan tengok kepada dia punya liquidity ratio. Okay, liquidity ratio. So dalam liquidity ratio tu, you akan tengok more on the current ratio as well as the acid test ratio. Okay, at the same time kita juga tengok dia punya working capital. Sama ada the working capital adalah positive working capital ataupun negative working capital. Okay, that one adalah one of the factors that contribute kepada going concern issue. Okay, tetapi on top of it, kita juga ada other factors that might contribute kepada going concern issue, kepada companies ability to continue as going concern. Maksud going concern adalah company tu kita assume the company at least be able to survive in the next 12 months. Okay, ataupun kalau baca dalam kalau you baca normal dalam bahasa biasa, when we say going concern adalah the company ability to continue in foreseeable future. Okay. Okay, before kita sign the audit report juga, kita akan juga kena take into consideration the balance sheet event. Balance sheet event adalah event yang berlaku after balance sheet date, but before we sign the audit report, after we sign the audit report, dan after the audit report dah distribute kepada shareholders. Okay, kita juga akan tengok the contingent liability sama ada contingent liabilities and commitment ni sebenarnya dia tak ada effect dekat financial statement, tetapi kita kena ensure that it is properly disclosed. Disclosed dalam notes to the account. Contingent liabilities and commitment dia tak akan appear dalam your financial statement, okay? Tetapi dia akan appear dalam notes to the account. So you sebagai auditor, you kena ensure that it is properly disclosed lah. Bukan saja dia kena disclose tapi tak ada misleading when they disclose dalam notes to the account. Okay. Kemudian you juga boleh tengok opening balance and comparative figures. Opening balance mestilah tally dengan prior year closing balance. Okay. And opening balance dekat investment in the holding company mestilah tally dengan opening balance of investment at the subsidiary company. Okay. Kemudian kita juga kena prepare the comparative figures. Sebab kalau you perasan bila you belajar accounting, dalam publish account, bila kita prepare financial statement, let's say you prepare financial statement 2021, you kena tunjuk comparative figure dengan prior year 2020. Okay. Kemudian before we sign the audit report, the last thing that we need to do adalah we need to obtain management representation letter. Make sure management give you the representation letter and they need to sign that representation letter. Kadang-kadang dia bagi you representation letter tapi dia tak sign. Dia tak valid ya. Kalau representation letter tak ada signature, is not valid. You have to ensure that BOD sign the representation letter. Sebab later on, kalau ada apa-apa case, you boleh refer kepada management representation letter. Ataupun if you want to defend yourself, kalau ada court case, you boleh guna partially lah ya, you boleh guna management representation letter. Tetapi you sebagai auditor, you tak boleh solely depends on the management representation letter. You need to clarify ataupun you need to verify the figures by using other audit procedures. Faham ya kelas ya? Maksudnya benda ni penting bagi you kan, tetapi you tak boleh solely rely on it. You also need to need to clarify the figures ataupun try to get justification daripada management, how do they derive dengan that figures, okay? Ataupun you boleh verify it by using dengan other audit procedures. Walaupun dia penting, tetapi you tak boleh 100% rely kepada management representation letter. Faham ya kelas ya? Kita ni auditor macam banyak benda yang kita kena take into consideration, okay? Tetapi benda ni juga penting sebab kalau ada court case ke, kalau ada legal case against you, you boleh guna dia partially ya, taklah 100% ya. Partially you boleh guna dia to defend yourself if there is any court case against the auditor. Okay. Kemudian kita juga kena refer kepada related parties transaction. This one kita dah tengok dalam tajuk group audit. So I akan skip lah dalam this topic ya. Kemudian kita kena tengok what are the implication if the other auditor of the subsidiary company issue modified opinion. This one pun kita dah tengok dalam tajuk group audit. Jadi dalam this topic kita akan tengok sampai management representation letter sahaja. Okay, any question class? Faham ya apa yang kita nak tengok dalam tajuk completing the audit. Okay, baca this one class. Okay, completing the audit, it does not relate dengan any cycle. Okay, sebab kita akan tengok the financial statement as a whole, okay. Dalam completing the audit is involved many subjective judgment. Okay, dia banyak involve you punya professional judgment by the auditor. That's why during completing the audit, normally the senior auditor, manager as well as audit partner and supervisor will take over di audit lah. Kita dah tak pakai junior auditor anymore during this stage. Okay. For example, the auditor need to decide sama ada the item need to be disclosed or no need to be disclosed. Ataupun we need to amend your financial statement. Bukan we the client need to amend the financial statement or they don't have to amend the financial statement. Kadang-kadang dia dah come out dengan financial statement tetapi something happen lepas tu. So kita kena discuss lah dengan management, kalau ikut accounting standard, do they need to adjust the financial statement or not? Okay, so kalau client dah adjust financial statement, katakanlah bahawa we advise them to adjust. So bila dia amends the financial statement, kita sebagai auditor, you tak boleh kata, oh you dah tukar ya figure tu. Dia kata, I dah tukar dah. Macam sebab you suruh I tukar lah. You tak boleh cakap macam tu ya. So bila kita advise dia suruh amends, so dia amends. So you sebagai auditor, we need to conduct audit procedure. You kena buat lagi sekali substantive audit procedures on that particular item. Bukan saja, oh you dah tukar ya, I suruh tukar gitu. Dia kata, dah, I tukar dah. I ikut apa yang you suruh. You kata, okay dah. Tak ada, there is no such thing. Any changes yang klien buat, you kena conduct audit procedures. You kena buat substantive audit procedures, okay? Faham tak? Sebab some people ingat ke, oh tukar-tukar macam tu je. Tak ada, there is no such thing, okay? Dalam audit, any changes, kita kena check dan kita kena buat substantive audit procedures lah. So basically, normally it's also involve issue that are potentially high risk, okay? Normally dalam completing the audit, kita akan tengok kepada item-item yang kita consider sebagai material item ataupun high risk item, okay? Dan kadang-kadang that's required to draw attention to the users. Kadang-kadang benda-benda ni auditors akan masukkan, akan highlightkan dalam audit report, and that one adalah part of the key audit matters. Kalau benda tu penting, auditor rasa benda tu kena di-highlight kepada shareholder, so auditor tu akan ambil whatever yang ada dalam notes to the account, akan masukkan dalam our audit report. Okay, so after completing the substantive test, the auditor need to undertake the overall review of the financial statement. Result from this review procedures together with the conclusion of the substantive and test of control. So kemudianlah barulah auditor boleh gunakan all this information selepas dia buat substantive test after year end, after dia dah tengok going concern issue, dia dah tengok post balance sheet event, barulah auditor determine the type of audit opinion to be used, okay, ataupun to be issued, okay. So normally during completing the audit, it will be conducted by senior auditor as well as audit partner ataupun senior manager. Okay, boleh ya kelas ya? Now kita tengok the first one. The first one adalah compliant with accounting standard and Companies Act 2016. This is the first thing yang you kena tengok. Okay, you kena tengok adalah bila client prepare the financial statement, how do they present dia punya financial statement? Presentation of the financial statement. Kalau kita tengok Companies Act 2016, dia ada format macam mana to present the financial statement. Okay, dan dia punya minimum requirement that need to be disclosed. Okay, dalam notes to the account. Ataupun bila you prepare financial statement, dia ada minimum requirement that you need to disclose. For example, like you kena disclose turnover, you kena disclose director's remuneration, depreciation, interest received, interest paid, dividend received, dividend paid, depreciation, provision for doubtful debts, okay? Auditor's fees, apa lagi Ataupun any fees yang you bayar kepada professional body macam you bayar kepada lawyer, you bayar kepada quantity surveyor, okay, semuanya tu you kena disclose. That one adalah minimum item that need to be disclosed dalam you punya notes to the account, ya. So the auditor should consider whether consider whether the information presented and the policy adopted are in accordance with Companies Act 2016. Dan bila they prepare financial statement, they follow the requirement of auditing standard. Okay, The financial statement dia kena macam, ni you dah tahu kan? So basically kita ada masa 15 bulan untuk you conduct AGM. Jadi you punya financial statement, katakanlah bahawa you punya accounting year ended pada 31st December, you ada masa sampai June following year kan? 15 bulan. June following year untuk you conduct AGM, okay? Kemudian when they prepare financial statement, they follow the requirement of FRS, all these relevant FRS lah, okay? That one adalah the first one. The first one adalah kita nak ensure that the client comply dengan accounting standard and the requirements of company act. The first one. Second one adalah kita akan conduct analytical procedures. Cuba tengok analytical procedures. Okay, analytical procedures adalah the auditor should apply analytical procedures at or near the end of the audit when forming an overall conclusion as to whether the financial statement as a whole are consistent with auditor's knowledge of business. I dah mention kat you all previously, basically analytical procedures kita akan conduct 3 stages, okay? Satu adalah during planning, dua adalah during detection, dan tiga adalah final. Final meaning that before we sign the audit report, kita kena conduct lagi sekali analytical procedures, okay? Because we try to kita nak ensure the consistency of the result, dan kita nak tengok klien punya performance, dan kita nak assess dia punya ability to continue as going concern, okay? Itu adalah analytical procedures, okay? Kat sini dia explain lagi lah the example why we need to conduct the analytical procedures during the final audit. Okay, boleh ya kelas ya? Okay, itu
boleh,
madam. Ya. Nombor 3 adalah kita nak tengok klien punya ability to continue as going status. Normally dalam soalan exam dia akan tanya banyak kat sini. Kat sini ya. Oh, banyak sangat dia kan. Nanti conteng. Okay, I padamkan dulu ya. Dalam soalan exam is compulsory question ya. Soalan akan tanya banyak dekat sini. Going concern status dan post balance sheet event. Ini memang compulsory lah. Dia akan keluar salah satu ataupun dia akan keluar both. Dia akan test on going concern and post balance sheet event. Kadang-kadang dia akan tanya this semester post balance sheet event, next semester dia akan tanya going concern. Tapi kalau dia tengok sekarang ni kebanyakan dia akan test dua-dua. Going concern and post balance sheet event untuk this topic lah. Okay, now kita tengok going concern. Apa itu going concern? Baca dulu ya. Okay, dalam AI 570 requires the auditor to assess the risk of going concern problem at the planning stage and again during the final review. Going concern ni kita akan tengok both. Okay, during planning sebab kita nak assess audit risk, okay? Dan before we sign the audit report. Apa maksud going concern adalah underlying on the preparation of the financial statement. Going concern adalah foreseeable future, at least the company be able to continue as a going concern for a foreseeable future period, at least dia boleh continue in the next 12 months. Okay. So apa yang you tengok dalam going concern adalah normally kita akan assess dia punya current asset and current liability. Kat sini kita tengok dia punya working capital. Current asset minus current liability. So kita tengok sama ada kita dapat positif ataupun negatif net working capital. Okay. So what are the factors that contribute kepada going concern problem? Going concern dia ada 3 factors that may indicate the company having going concern issue. Satu kita panggil sebagai operating indicator. The second one adalah due to the financial and the other one adalah under other indicator. Okay, these are the factors that might contribute kepada going concern issue. For the example of the operating indicator, katakanlah bahawa client tu loss of major market. Okay, normally katakanlah bahawa normally barang-barang dia yang dia produce, dia jual kat China. and tiba-tiba China block the transaction between Malaysia and China, let's say lah ya. So meaning that you dah tak ada tempat yang you dah nak boleh market your product. Okay. Jadi dalam that situation, so the company we afraid that the company tak boleh nak continue dia punya business in future. Okay. Kadang-kadang due to the franchise system ataupun loss of the principal supplier. Katakanlah bahawa supplier dia datangnya daripada China dan tiba-tiba kerajaan China block ataupun do not allow to export that material anymore. Okay. Kemudian shortage of important supplies, okay, and sometimes due to the loss of management personnel. Loss of management personnel ni is quite common. Kadang-kadang orang kata kenapa seorang hilang, company tu would not be able to survive ya. Normally kalau you perhatikan, especially in our country lah ya. In our country normally kita ni macam kalau pekerja ni, kalau kerja tu kena kerja betul-betul lah kan, macam overwork basically ya. Kalau kita compare time kerja kita, kalau kita compare dengan US, dengan UK, dengan Australia lagi lah. Kalau Australia tu kalau you kerja after pukul 5, dia rasa you ni macam tak betul lah ya. Dia rasa macam you ni macam you are not normal lah ya. For them 5 o'clock tu you kena stop kerja. No matter what, no matter how. Waktu kerja dia adalah very singkat. Okay, dia kerja 5 hari seminggu, dia masuk pukul 9. Kalau you pergi kerja awal pun sepatutnya you are not supposed to work. You kena kerja start pukul 9 sampai pukul 5. After pukul 5 you tak perlu kerja pun sebenarnya. Tak macam tempat kerja kita ni selagi kadang-kadang pukul 12, 1 pagi tu selagi dia boleh perah tenaga kita ni, dia perah tenaga kita lah kan. It's quite common bila you kerja esok. In our country memang kita punya pekerja adalah terlebih. Kadang-kadang saya rasa macam diorang tak respect we as a human lah kot ya. Macam bila kerja tu macam you kena kerja saja. Okay, so apa yang berlaku adalah especially in our country lah ya, tapi in some of the Asia country pun benda yang sama berlaku ya. Normally kalau manufacturing company basically apa yang dia buat adalah kalau dia guna heavy machinery. Bila dia guna heavy machinery tu normally kita tak buat sendiri ya. Kita akan import daripada luar. Let's say you import daripada somewhere, you beli from German, katakanlah bawah ya. So bila you beli that machinery, so bila kita masuk in our kilang, kita akan modify it. Okay, so macam mana modify? Normally all the engineers akan do the modification lah. Okay, cuma 1 or 2 of them yang tahu everything about that machine. That's why this person kalau machine tu dia kena monitor 24 hours ya. That's why kalau 2 orang je yang tahu, seorang tu kena kerja 12 jam, another person kena kerja 12 jam. Ataupun kalau 3 orang 8 jam. Okay, it's quite common. Okay, so maybe 1 or 2 of them tiba-tiba resign. Ataupun 3 of them resign. Jadi tak ada orang tahu how to handle that machine. Okay, so kadang-kadang due to that pun boleh jadi company tu boleh bankrupt ataupun tak boleh nak continue the business as going concern due to the loss of management personnel. Okay, sebab due to this, sebab tak ada orang tahu how to handle that machine. Okay, kalau you nak hire new engineer pun, that new engineer pun tak tahu macam mana to handle the machine. So sometimes the machine can be very complicated. Okay. Okay, that one adalah one of the factors. Another factors that contribute kepada going concern problem adalah financial indicator. Financial indicator ni adalah yang biasa ditanya dalam soalan exam. That's why dalam soalan exam dia akan bagi you all the data, so you kena check the data tu and then you determine sama ada the company be able to continue as going concern ataupun tak. Okay. Normally apa yang kita tengok adalah kita tengok kepada dia punya net liability, negative net working capital, current liability is more than the current asset. Then you juga kena tengok dia punya key financial ratio. For the example like current ratio less than 1, asset test ratio also less than 1. Okay. Loss. Okay. It's quite common for new company untuk dapat loss for the first year, second year, third year. Tetapi kalau 5 tahun, 6 tahun, 7 tahun, you still not be able to get the profit. So that meaning that the company might having problem to continue the business. Okay. Next one adalah inability to pay creditors. Okay. Inability to pay creditors adalah kalau you tak boleh bayar kepada creditors for the amount of 10,000, creditors can take legal action against you ya kelas ya. Boleh dapatkan court case, boleh dapatkan court order untuk declare you sebagai bankrupt. Itu yang terjadi macam kes sajat kalau you tengok kan. Kes sajat, kes apa lagi ya, artis-artis ya, Awi. Kalau you baca kan, they have the asset tetapi dia orang tak ada liquid asset. Kalau you tengok artis-artis dekat ada European country pun, those yang popular ni, dia ada asset merata. Tetapi they are very poor in managing dia punya financial planning dia very bad lah, okay ya. Jadi dia tak ada liquid asset. Bila you tak ada liquid asset, you not be able to pay your current obligation. Kalau you tengok sajak tu kan harta dia banyak kan. Tetapi dia tak boleh nak bayar kepada one of dia punya ni 200,000. Sebenarnya 200,000 for him might be nothing kan. Tetapi dia tak ada liquid asset. Masalah yang utama dalam company ataupun kita, esok-esok lah you all bila you kerja esok-esok pun, you kena monitor this thing. Satu, you kena ada liquid asset. Ensure that you be able to pay your current obligation. Okay, tak perlu jual you punya fixed asset. So, some people, they have fixed asset. Dia tak ada current asset. Faham ke kelas apa yang I'm trying to say? Okay? Sebab
Faham madam.
because kalau you kerja esok, kadang-kadang some people they like to beli rumah satu, rumah dua. Kalau you baca-baca those yang saya recommend lah macam mana, what should you do with your money, okay? Beli rumah satu, rumah dua, rumah tiga, lepas tu sewakan rumah tu, kemudian use that money rolling to get more money and so on. It is good. Tetapi if anything happen, you tak boleh nak bayar hutang, okay? You tak ada liquid asset. Once you tak ada liquid assets, tak banyak, 10,000 saja. You tak boleh bayar hutang 10,000, any creditors, dia boleh take legal action against you, okay? Kemudian, next one adalah, okay, kalau creditors change daripada cash, credit kepada cash. Kalau dulu dia bagi kredit, 30 days credit kepada you kan, untuk you beli barang dengan dia, tetapi sebab you selalu delay bayar, you ada bad reputation, and then dia pun rasa you not be able to pay, you punya financial stability is very bad, okay? So dia refuse to give you further credit. You nak beli barang, dia suruh you beli barang on cash basis. Itu adalah indicator that the company having financial difficulty, okay? Kemudian maybe you ada inability to obtain financing. You nak dapatkan loan daripada bank reluctant to give you loan. Kenapa? Sebab bila bank check you punya debt ratio, your debt ratio is already high. Let's say your debt ratio dah 65%, dah betul-betul tinggi. Bank pun tak nak take the risk, okay, to give you further loan, okay. Kemudian you do not pay dividend, you do not pay dividend kepada preference shareholder, okay. And then next one adalah difficulty to comply with the term loan agreement. Kadang-kadang you dah ada loan dengan bank, you tak boleh bayar interest and principal kepada bank. The thing yang you boleh buat adalah kalau you ada financial difficulty, you need to discuss dengan bank. You have to be sincere lah dengan bank ya. You beritahu dia that you ada financial difficulty. So the bank akan reschedule the loan. Macam mana bank reschedule the loan, dia akan panjangkan lagi you punya loan. Okay, the maturity period. So you akan bayar dengan lower amount lah every month ya. Tetapi apa yang berlaku adalah sometimes after bank dah reschedule the loan, you still not be able to pay the interest as well as the principal. Okay, so that one adalah part of adalah indicator that the company having financial difficulties. Okay, so and other indicators for the example adalah pending case. Okay, other factors that may contribute kepada going concern issue adalah kalau ada third party take legal action against the company and then it involves substantial amount. Okay, third party take legal actions against the client and the amount adalah very substantial. Meaning that kalau you kalah, kalau client tu kalah, so the company ataupun the client might not be able to survive ataupun to continue the business. That one kita panggil sebagai going concern issue. Okay, next one adalah, this one adalah the example. The example mitigating factor. Apa yang you kena buat adalah kita kena discuss dengan client on the mitigating plan. Mitigating plan adalah we need to discuss dengan client apa yang client tu kena buat ataupun apa yang client tu akan buat so that they be able to solve the financial problem. Okay, step to be taken by auditor adalah auditor need to evaluate whether the result of audit procedure performed during the audit, okay, provide indication that the company might have going concern issue. Normally bila you buat kerja-kerja audit ni kan, bila you dah deal dengan third party, you boleh tahulah sama ada company ni ada going concern issue or not. Okay, so kalau ada you rasa memang company ni ada going concern issue, apa yang you kena buat adalah you need to discuss dengan management. Okay, discuss dengan management about dia punya plan to mitigate the going concern problem. You discuss dengan dia, tanya dia what are the things ataupun ada apa-apa masalah ataupun apa plan dia so that they be able to solve dia punya going concern issue. Okay, so that's why the auditor akan buat all this one lah, PDO, CIMA, audit procedures. So if auditor conclude after evaluating the mitigating plan, katakanlah bahawa after you dah discuss dengan client and then client dah beritahu dia punya mitigating plan, so you sebagai auditor you kena check dia punya mitigating plan lah ya. So after you evaluate mitigating plan that there is substantial doubt about the ability for the entity to continue the going concern, the auditor consider the adequacy of the disclosure with respect of such uncertainty and include an explanatory paragraph in the audit report. So bila you dah discuss dengan client about dia punya going concern issue, benda tu kena disclose dalam the mitigating plan, they need to disclose dalam notes to the account. Okay, whatever mitigating plan need to be disclosed dalam notes to the account. Jadi you kena check lah benda tu ada ke tak dalam notes to the account. So kalau ada yang you rasa dia punya mitigating plan ni okay, so hopefully kalau everything is okay, the company still be able to continue the business. Okay, jadi apa yang kita boleh buat adalah kita akan issue unqualified opinion with emphasis of matters, or kita panggil sebagai key audit matters. Okay. Okay, this one adalah the example of the mitigating plan. Okay, for the example, katakanlah bahawa, I pergi laju sikit ya kelas, indication liability more than asset. So, kalau liability tu dia lebih banyak pada asset, apa yang dia boleh buat adalah to maintain adequate cash, maybe kita boleh ask the client to dispose some of the asset. Katakanlah bahawa dia ada 2-3 mesin, satu mesin tu dia tak guna kan. So kita advise dia to dispose one of dia punya fixed asset. Ataupun dia boleh reschedulekan the loan ataupun dia boleh dapatkan financial support daripada mana-mana investor. Okay. Kalau dia punya indication of loss of supplier, katakanlah bahawa dia punya mitigating plan, katakanlah bahawa dia supplier tak ada untuk supply material tu. So kita check dia punya inventory. Let's say dia banyak lagi material, maybe that material boleh guna for the next 6 months. Jadi company tu maybe be able to survive the business sebab dia ada masa 6 bulan untuk dia cari other supplier ataupun for them to get substitute material, okay, untuk replace, untuk produce dia punya product. So under that situation, this one adalah some of the example of the mitigating plan. Okay, so apa yang auditor kena buat adalah kita akan buat audit procedures. This one adalah the audit procedures kalau ada mitigating factors. Okay, audit procedures always refer kepada PDOCIMA. Apa yang auditor need to do adalah auditor need to analyze and discuss cash flow, profit forecast with management, revenue event yang berlaku selepas balance sheet date. Okay, katakanlah bahawa company tu having financial difficulty by end of the year, tetapi by February, they be able to dispose some of dia punya fixed asset. So by doing that, dia boleh dapatkan some cash. Ataupun dia boleh issue new share by February. Jadi by doing that, they be able to overcome dia punya cash flow problem. Ataupun dia boleh bayar dia punya creditors. Okay. So you kena tengoklah the event yang berlaku after balance sheet date. Okay. Kemudian you juga boleh review the terms of the debenture, loan agreement, whether they have been breached. You juga boleh review minutes of meeting. Okay. Sebab kalau ada going concern issue, it should be discussed at the BOD level. Okay, so bila discuss dalam board of the directors, you kena review minutes of meeting. Okay, so you juga boleh dapatkan information daripada lawyer, inquiry daripada lawyer regarding litigation and claim, dan dapatkan juga obtain letter for financial support. Okay, last one kita tengok kat sini, the type of audit report to be issued kalau ada going concern problem. Kalau totally appropriately dissolve, okay? Kalau katakanlah bahawa ada going concern issue, kemudian dia ada mitigating plan, that one kita panggil sebagai totally appropriate and resolve. So there is no modification on the audit report, so you masih boleh issue unqualified audit report. Okay? Kalau appropriate, because of the mitigating factor, dia ada dua situation. Satu adalah dia properly disclose the mitigating factor dalam notes to the account. Another one adalah dia ada mitigating factors tetapi dia tak nak disclose dalam notes to the account. Kalau dia tak nak disclose, is considered sebagai disagreement. Ni you kena betul-betul faham, okay? Sebab soalan biasa tanya, the type of audit opinion to be issued. Okay. So kalau dia properly disclose dalam notes to the account, you masih boleh issue unqualified audit report with emphasis of matters, or kita panggil sebagai key audit matters. Okay. So kalau dia ada mitigating plan tetapi dia refuse to disclose dalam notes to the account, that one adalah part of the disagreement. Jadi the audit report adalah qualified opinion kalau not so material ataupun material but not pervasive. Dan meaning that you boleh keluar except for opinion lah ya kelas ya. Tetapi kalau material and pervasive, you akan keluarkan adverse opinion. Faham kelas yang situ?
Faham, Madam.
Faham ya? Okay. That's why I beritahu you all, you kena betul-betul faham pasal the type of audit opinion to be issued. Okay. Okay, sometimes dia ada mitigating plan, tetapi mitigating plan dia macam tak logik, macam betul ke boleh buat ni? Okay, macam inappropriate. Okay, dia kata, oh okay nanti I panggil, I ada saudara mara I, dia pelakon, I suruh dia promote my product, mesti dia punya sales akan increase by 1 million katakanlah ya. So you rasa dia ada plan tetapi rasa macam tak appropriate. Okay. So kalau result dia is not appropriate, kalau benda tu tak material, you boleh issue except for opinion. Kalau material, you akan issue adverse opinion. Okay. Next one adalah not resolved. Not resolved ni maksud dia adalah dia ada mitigating plan. Dia cakaplah kat you, oh I nak buat ni so that I be able to solve the financial problem. Tetapi bila you dapatkan data, ini macam kes yang berlaku dekat server dynamic tu lah ya. Bila you nak dapatkan data, you nak dapatkan information daripada dia, they refuse to give you the data. Okay, so auditor should adequately disclose in the financial statement about the uncertainty. So kalau benda tu not so material, you boleh issue except for opinion. Kat sini maksud dia except for ya kelas? Except for opinion. Tetapi kalau benda tu material, you akan issue disclaimer opinion. Kenapa you issue disclaimer? Because you having difficulty to get information from your client. In real life, benda yang berlaku adalah kalau dia kata dia ada mitigating plan but they keep change dia punya plan. Kejap dia cakap macam tu, kejap dia cakap macam ni, kejap dia cakap, it's quite common lah bila you kerja esok, you akan jumpa benda macam ni ya. Dan bila you dapat report, dia bagi report, dia tarik balik report tu, dia bagi report yang lain kat you. So that you sebagai auditor, you having problem to get the information ataupun to accumulate the evidence, okay? So bila you ada masalah to accumulate the evidence, that's the reasons why we issue the disclaimer statement. Faham ya kelas ya? Kat sini kita issue adverse sebab dia inappropriate. Inappropriate meaning that benda tu dia tak follow, benda tu macam is not achievable ataupun dia tak follow accounting standard. Okay, ataupun dia tak follow accounting treatment. That's why kita issue adverse opinion. Faham kelas ya? Sorry, I dah 3:30. Maybe some of you ada kelas. So I should end it now. Do you have any question? Those yang ada kelas boleh join kelas dulu ya. Ada soalan tak?
No, madam.
Tak ada ya? Okay. So untuk kelas J, besok I akan continue dengan subsequent event and so on. I akan habiskan. Untuk dia ada 2 groups, kita akan continue on Friday this topic ya. So by this week, I hope I boleh habiskan syllabus. Okay? So that's all for today. Sorry terlambat habis kelas. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, madam.
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 Okay, bye.